Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a good Tuesday, wherever we are around the world. And welcome back to yet another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. How are we, chat? Hopefully, everyone is well, as I'm pressing the wrong button. As per usual, the show is going up in flames. But how are we? Hopefully, all of you guys are well, of course. And look, we don't have much of a jam-packed show. Of course, it is just obviously bringing up stories obviously from yesterday, and there is a few more from today, of course. Obviously, as you can see on the screen right now, we're going to talk about Luis Diaz, but we're not only going to talk about him. Of course, we're going to talk about Rayan Cherki. Again, supposedly Arne Slot has flown from his holiday home, or his holiday really, to go and speak to Rayan Cherki, which we will talk about a bit later on. Of course, we'll talk about Queen Kelleher as well, about, of course, his move to Brentford. That is now done. It's all confirmed. And, of course, we will talk about Florian Wirtz, of course. Just before we were about to come on, there's been a bit of news as well, of course. And not only that, there has been news from Florian Wirtz himself as well, which we will discuss in due course anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below anyway. But let me get into your comments, because I've seen a lot of you before I start the show. Like, what are you lot doing? Hopefully I'll catch the end of this. Lots of news about transfers. Yes, big news about transfers, to be fair, coming up. Big up Ozan as well, saying so much for the Chiesa song then. He's not gone anywhere yet. We'll have to wait and see, won't we, in a couple of weeks coming up as well. But will he be late, chat? Yes, I will be late, for sure. No, Ozan, you cheeky fucking joking. No, I was not at the barbershop. I was downstairs and didn't realize the time. But what time do you call this, mate? The time I call it, it's the right time. Anyway, we're not late. We're not, I'm not hours late like we have done on previous shows. Anyway, but big up Alex as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Is Wirtz done? Very close to being confirmed, of course. Obviously, the downside is that Florian Wirtz plays tomorrow, and it looks like he is going to start for Germany against Portugal as well. So yeah, looks like we might have to wait maybe 24, 48 hours until there's a medical done, at least anyway. But hopefully, Germany will only play in 45 minutes tomorrow anyway. But we will kickstart the news. Like I said, we're going to talk about Luis Diaz first. Again, it feels like we've been talking about Luis Diaz now for the last 3 or 4 nights, really. But we're going to discuss Luis Diaz first, of course. Now, if you guys remember, of course, when Luis Diaz joined Liverpool, Pape Sarria, I think it is his name is. Apologies if I do butcher any names. Of course, he was one of the first guys that got the Luis Diaz story to him moving to Liverpool. And of course, yesterday he came out with this. Now, of course, it has had to be translated from, of course, as you guys can see there, from obviously Pepe's obviously native language to, of course, English, as it can be translated. So again, if words are wrong, I do apologize. But of course, what he's come out and said, of course, from Spanish, it's what he's come out and said is, it is completely false that Luis Diaz, 28, has made the decision to leave Liverpool. In fact, they have already started talks of his contract renewal and are working on a longer contract with a salary increase. If he does not sign, the Reds will be open to selling him for more than 80 million euros, as Fabrizio Romano said, with Barcelona and Al Nassr being the most interested at this point. Now, again, linking to the Barcelona story, now, again, can we realistically see Barcelona coughing up that type of money? No, I don't think we can. I think realistically, there are only one side in that aspect that could go and end up getting him, and that is, of course, Saudi and obviously Al Nassr as well. So in my opinion, I do think if he is going to leave Liverpool, I think he will go to Saudi. Like I mentioned in yesterday's show, I think it's pretty much guaranteed that is the most likely scenario out of them all. But again, Barcelona, could they offer that amount of money up? But potentially, if somebody left Barcelona to go to Saudi or any other country, but realistically, do the Barcelona really need him? Of course, like I mentioned yesterday, in my opinion, it's a bit of a weird transfer if it was to go through for Barcelona, considering they've got, of course, Lamine Yamal on the right, they've got Rafinha on the left, of course, they've got Lewandowski up top if they wanted to kind of move into that false nine, and they think Luis Diaz is that type of player. But of course, on the left, you've got Rafinha. Is Luis Diaz going to be a backup to Rafinha? I don't think so, personally. So I think it would be a very interesting one. I think, certainly with that type of deal and that type of scenario where, again, is Lucho going to join Barca to be a backup? I don't think he would. Personally, I think he'd much rather stay at Liverpool for that reason, of course. But still, I do think the Saudi move, if he is going to leave Liverpool, will be the move as well, of course. Even earlier on, Ben Jacobs, again, who's been pretty reliable for Liverpool so far this transfer window, of course, Carlton said Al Nassr is set to approach Liverpool over Luis Diaz after receiving a central approval to make a bid, could be as high as 85 million euros. Unclear if Diaz wants to go to Saudi, while Barcelona remain an option, but the Colombian winger is one of Al Nassr's top targets. No urgency like Al Hilal to resolve before the Club World Cup, but an acceptance within the club. They need to show ambition in June to persuade Cristiano Ronaldo to stay. So again, of course, realistically, of course, with with Sadio Mane already being there, obviously Lucho spending 6 months with Sadio. Is he about to leave as well? Of course, that's a possibility. Obviously, they've already got John Duran as well, so there is the possibility that even Al Nassr have to get rid of somebody before they bring in Luis Diaz as well. But their whole ambition is to keep Cristiano Ronaldo. And in their eyes, if they end up spending 75, 80, 85 million euros on Luis Diaz, for example, then in their eyes, they think that's going to keep hold of Cristiano Ronaldo. Where, in my opinion, I think Ronaldo is going to go somewhere to play in the Club World Cup. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't do that, to be fair, because I don't think Al Nassr are in the Club World Cup. So it wouldn't be too shocking if he maybe even joined another Saudi club, or again went somewhere else for a couple of weeks or months, and then went back then to the Saudi Pro League, really. But it will be an interesting one, I think, with Luis Diaz. I think for me, do I see Lucho going? No, personally, I just don't. But again, if, for example, £85 million comes on Liverpool's desk, do they turn that down? I don't think they do that either. Because, of course, today I was going to bring it up on the show as a point, but of course, Rafael Leao has been linked again today concerning a type of deal, and when I tried to find the article piece, it kind of disappeared. So I don't know whether or not, if again, that was true, or whether or not the reports on it just disappeared, really. But again, can we see Rafael Leao at Liverpool? In my opinion, no, even though, again, AC Milan probably need the money, because, of course, they have no Champions League, they have no Europa League neither, in that sense. So, again, they need to sell somebody. Of course, obviously, Chelsea looking at Mainan. That's an interesting one in itself, but I think on an overall perspective, I don't personally want Rafael Leao. I think, again, in the Serie A, he looks good, he looks decent at times, but the majority of times he does look awful. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments on Luis Diaz. Anyway, because again, I don't think Lucho's going to go anywhere, personally. But the World Cup next summer will mean Lucho would want to play in the best league. Yeah, absolutely. Playing in Saudi could undermine his place in the Colombian national squad. I don't think he would. I'm not going to lie, Ozan. I do think he is the poster boy, isn't he, for Colombia. I don't think there's any chance, really. And plus, you've already got John Duran there as well. That could be a massive factor for Luis Diaz as well, because you've got John Duran there. Again, Colombia are not going to stop playing John Duran. I think even they've played multiple players that have gone to the Saudi Pro League as of things right now. So again, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think it's going to happen anyway. if that was to be the case. But not seeing much talk today, says Mark as well. Well, that's why you're here, Mark, to listen to the news anyway. But Jack says no. How are you, Jack? So says Mark. I didn't know your nan played for what, Rafael Leao? Jesus Christ. Yeah, what's wrong with you? But yeah, I'll be intrigued anyway to see what happens with that one anyway. But we will move on from Luis Diaz, and let's talk then about, of course, departures. Of course, there's not going to be that many departures from Liverpool this summer, but we have started with the player sales, and that is Kelleher, of course, is no longer a Liverpool player. That feels weird, me saying that as well, to be fair. But again, he needed the move, and of course it got confirmed today by Liverpool. Again, Liverpool themselves putting out a respectful post, more unlike what they did with Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. But still, again, what an unbelievable player he has been for Liverpool. Again, won us plenty of trophies in the past, where, again, penalty shootouts, more obviously notably against Chelsea. But even still, games like Real Madrid as well, saving penalties against Kylian Mbappe earlier on in the season. And realistically, he has been a big, he has been a big force for Liverpool over the years. When we've gone on to win Premier Leagues and gone on to win Champions Leagues, again, Kelleher has been, he has been, a really good backup goalkeeper, and it's very rare that Liverpool get really good backup goalkeepers. It is, look how many years we suffered for backup goalkeepers, and as they said, but there, Kelleher today completed his permanent transfer to Brentford. Everyone at Liverpool FC thanks Queen for his contribution to the club's recent success and wishes him the best of luck in the future as well. And look, he massively deserves a move as well. And judging from his interview, where again this has happened very, very quickly, supposedly the interest was around 2 weeks ago. Spoke to Thomas Frank, and he got the deal done then, really, in a very short space of time. So again, look, I know people will turn around and go with a transfer fee of like £18 million, and supposedly it's meant to be add-ons that that are easy to get as well. So basically Liverpool will get 18 million for Kelleher, not 12.5 million. So that's a good thing to begin with. And plus, I think, look, for the amount of years that Kelleher has had at the football club, I think just the sheer amount of years that Liverpool have said, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely look for a new club for you," and then he ends up staying for another season, and it's the same conversation every single summer, where we say, "Okay, you can leave," but then something will come up and go, "Oh yeah, no, we can't let you go." But of course, with Liverpool signing Mamardashvili, of course, look, Liverpool are sound then in that position. If Alisson isn't available, then you've got a really good goalkeeper in Giorgio Mamardashvili to step up as well. But look, hopefully there is a buyback clause in the contract at Brentford, because Kelleher is a very, very top class goalkeeper. And like I said to you guys yesterday, for me, I think he could easily play for a top 16. I think you could easily look at Spurs. You could easily look at Chelsea as well. Of course, with Chelsea looking at Mainan as well. I think there's definitely a window of opportunity there, really. But look, at Brentford, I hope it works out perfectly for him as well anyway. But Con, thoughts on Wirtz denying publicly? We'll get onto that in a minute. Pick up Luke as well, saying need new music for your intro. I know what you should use. Yeah, I definitely know what music you're thinking of as well, you little rat. Which, again, you guys don't know really. But I still think Kelleher deserves a bigger club. The national team wanted him to move to. Yeah, exactly. But I think at Brentford, even now, in Premier League predictions, for example, nobody's going to predict Brentford to go down, because they're a very good, well-established team. And plus, all right, they may struggle a bit next season because, of course, they're going to lose Brian Mbeumo. Whether or not they're going to lose Visa and Damsgaard and all these types of players is another thing. But again, let's be honest, Brentford have upgraded, on their goalkeeper. Mark Flecken is a decent goalkeeper, excuse me, but I do think Kelleher is better than him, and I do think that, I think he is a level above him then, really, as well. But look, he does deserve a chance now. And when you think about it, he's probably Ireland's number one goalkeeper now, for sure. But again, we don't know. But the club thinks Mamardashvili is the next big thing. Yeah, they do, and the rest of Europe do as well. Though supposedly there was a lot of conversation. Still thinking United should, and City. What's that for, Mark? Oh, do you mean in terms of goalkeeper? Well, you think about it, like, again, Mamardashvili was being tracked by a lot of teams, and Liverpool just walked right in and got him. And we've seen how Liverpool have struggled in the past. Like, look, we've had Mignolet, we've had Karius, we've had, look, the season we won the Champions League in 2005, we had Dudek, Chris Kirkland, and Scott Carson. That, as you know, none of them were first choice really, and we had the three of them in one season fighting for that position. Like, how bad is that? Really, it's really, really bad. Like, some people thought it was bad when Mignolet and Karius was fighting for the number one position. Like, back then, that was awful. Like, the fact that Liverpool then went and signed Pepe Reina and was like, yeah, no, he is number one. That's it. The conversation done. Like, again, was amazing at the time, because again, them three fighting out for number one. Yeah, it's not great. Then let's just say that anyway. But to answer your question, Ozan, I don't think so. I don't think it was the fake account. Anyway, but how did Mamardashvili do last season? He did struggle at the first part of the season. He did struggle a little bit. Obviously, Valencia did have a poor season, but second half he did really. He did kick on again. As well, but look, obviously the season that Liverpool signed him off, he was providing he was providing the same type of season as somebody like Alisson was at Roma. So when you look at it like that, again, look, it's a very good situation to be in. And look, in a European competition or World Cup, again, he's going to be phenomenal for Georgia again as well. But we have had the best goalkeeper in Bogdan. Watford away in 15-16. Oh my God, what a terrible performance that was. Pleased for Kelleher, solid goalkeeper, or solid keeper, and great guy, vital to our recent success. Yes, absolutely. Brent Jones, what a guy. Connor, how long do you feel Alisson will stay? Saudi interest and injuries. I think Ali will sign a new contract. I know people get frustrated with his injuries. I do as well at times, but look, Alisson, the PSG game is the number one guy when you look at it and go, or the number one game. Sorry, you look at it and go, look, there's no other goalkeeper in Europe that could have had that type of performance against PSG. I don't think, in my opinion. I know people will turn around and shout names like Edison, Emi Martinez, about being the best goalkeeper in the world. They get nowhere near Alisson, in my opinion. And look, if Liverpool can sort out the injury problems even next season, again, Mamardashvili doesn't get in really. But I think what people kind of forget is, like, again, if Alisson signs a new contract, when does he run out? 2027. If he signs a new contract, again, even if he stays to be backup for Mamardashvili, if that change happens where Mamardashvili, is the guy then for Liverpool, then I don't think that should realistically be a problem. And if Alisson wants to stay at Liverpool, full term, then sound. It'd be absolutely amazing to keep Ali as well. But look, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think he'll sign a new contract, personally. But how can you miss Dudek though? Well, let's not talk about Jose Dudek too much. Of course, to be fair, right, the Champions League, amazing, but I don't know, how many games did he play when Pepe Reina signed? How long, or how many games did Dudek play in the next season? I'm not too sure how many he did play. under Rafa. But Edwin van der Sar still won league titles in his late 30s, so why not Alisson? Yeah, exactly. I think goalkeepers have changed now, though, as well, on how you play. But Ali can easily go into his late 30s quite easily. I think Ali genuinely, if Liverpool win another one or two league titles, Alisson will start being in that conversation more often in terms of goalkeeper. Because obviously, right now, obviously, I think Alisson is top three goalkeepers. Like, taking bias aside, like, I think obviously people go Peter Schmeichel, you've got Petr Cech. Like, for me, growing up, Petr Cech was the best goalkeeper in the league. And I know people go, oh, well, Van der Sar was also good. Van der Sar was good in his later years. But yeah, I would say, for me, I would turn around and say the top three right now in terms of forever. From what I've seen, of course, obviously Petr Cech is number one because obviously I wasn't born. I wasn't born when Peter Schmeichel was in his prime. Peter Schmeichel number two and Alisson number three right now. But again, Ali, if he wins one or two more, I think Ali has to be in that conversation then because he would have won two or three. And yeah, I'd be interested then really to see what happens. But big up as well, Brazzy as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Oh yeah, for sure. They can do. Yeah, absolutely. No one beats Peter Schmeichel. Well, should we have the conversation about Virgil van Dijk being the best centre back? Again, that would be an interesting conversation to have on stream anyway. Big up Luke as well, saying Northampton Town fan. Well, hope you're doing well, mate. As well. Has anybody transferred from Northampton to Liverpool? Not off the top of my head anyway. But look, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what happens anyway. But we will move on then. We'll talk then about Rayan Cherki, of course. Now, this is two stories, really. The links into one. Let me quickly get the article piece up for you guys. So, David Ornstein this morning pretty much putting it out there that, of course, Arne Slot had a meeting with Rayan Cherki, saying that, again, look, it looks like it's going to be a scenario where, again, he has met up with him and had conversations around moving to Liverpool. Now, reading more into the article piece, because, again, I think it was taken a little bit out of context, really, for what it was anyway. So he was talking about the Florian Wirtz situation. So if I quickly bring this up for you guys, so you guys can see it on the screen right now. There we go. So, as it does go on to say, David Ornstein's ones to watch. Of course, The Athletic revealed last week that Liverpool had made a second offer for Bayer Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz. An agreement has yet to be reached, but talks continue over the German international with optimism that a deal can be struck. There is a feeling around the matter that this could be a pivotal week in, of course, the outcome of what has become a one-horse race for the 22-year-old, given his preference to join Liverpool and the Anfield club willingness to push. Wirtz is the most high-profile situation in the market right now. Liverpool's proposal, worth up to a club record 130 million euros, compressed of a guaranteed fee plus add-ons, may yet increase. Wirtz is a long-term target for Liverpool, their first choice and the only player they have made a bid for his position. So what he does also go on to say is that Slot flew to the south of France last week to speak to Cherki. But it has been disclosed that Arne Slot left his holiday last week to fly or flew to the south of France to meet Lyon's Rayan Cherki. Liverpool are committed to Wirtz, though that doesn't stop them performing due diligence on the other options of preparing for all outcomes. The Cherki discussions were scheduled before the Wirtz chase accelerated, and it is normal to proceed as such conversations while your priority signing is not complete and a multiple, obviously, multiple plates are spinning. Wirtz was also targeted by Manchester City and Bayern Munich. City's pursuit did not develop further, and they are now focusing on Cherki. While reports have suggested that there is a release clause worth 22.5 million euros in his contract, this is not the case. And Lyon want to negotiate for a significantly bigger fee, despite Cherki's terms expiring next summer. So for everybody turning around and saying, look, Liverpool are speaking to Rayan Cherki has turned Liverpool down, No, like, look, Liverpool did their due diligence as we always do. Again, this is kind of old news, really, in terms of, again, Liverpool did this because of the Florian Wirtz deal. If the Wirtz deal didn't work out, it's quite clear Rayan Cherki was Liverpool's number 2 option to go for. And again, that's completely fine, really. Could Liverpool turn around and go and sign Cherki? Of course they could. They could go and sign Florian Wirtz and then go and sign Rayan Cherki and kind of, play a double 10 then really with them two as the double 10. But of course, that isn't going to happen. Of course, because I think everybody thinks that because the Luis Diaz news as well, that he's going to leave. That Liverpool are going to play Wirtz on the left, and then again not play Wirtz in the middle. Again, Liverpool are going to be playing Florian Wirtz as the number 10. Of course, in some games they may switch him onto the left, and kind of change in that position. But again, Florian Wirtz, if he does sign for Liverpool, will be the number 10 position. It won't be, again, an alternate position. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on the Cherki stuff. For me, I'm not against Liverpool signing Cherki neither. I think looking at his numbers for Lyon and looking at a few other things this season where, again, he has been up there for being, again, a top player in Europe. Again, I do like the signing of Cherki. I think obviously Cherki's going to go to Manchester City now because we know, obviously Florian Wirtz looks like he's going to be coming to Liverpool. But still, again, I like the player of Rayan Cherki. I think for Man City, I think he'll be an excellent signing. But I think for us, look, if the Wirtz deal didn't work out, I like the fact that Liverpool had a plan B, and look how many times where we, I think the Caicedo deal is the perfect scenario really to look at, where Liverpool were looking for a 6 and kind of arguing about, where we were going to go in that 6th position and kind of go, well, if we don't get Caicedo, then there isn't really anybody available. And I do look at that and go, well, at least Liverpool had a plan B. If Florian Wirtz didn't work out, again, the number 1 target is Florian Wirtz. That's been no debate at all. But it's good the fact that Liverpool have plan Bs and plan Cs and have, an alternative option then, let's say. And I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that news coming out, really. I know plenty of City fans today have gone, oh, well, Cherki's rejected Liverpool and gone to Manchester City. It's like, no, it's kind of the other way around. Like, Liverpool have rejected Cherki and gone for Florian Wirtz. And again, that's great, the fact that Liverpool have actually got their number 1 target as well, that I think is brilliant. But again, the player himself, I think he's a really good player. I think last season he got, was it like 12 goals, 18 assists, I think, in the French league, or in all competitions, which was outrageous, really. But still, if you're going to ask me who would I prefer, would I rather Florian Wirtz or Rayan Cherki? I would much prefer, quite easily, Florian Wirtz. Even though Rayan Cherki, very good player, Florian Wirtz, for me, you could argue is maybe potentially the best 10 in Europe right now. Let's be honest. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts anyway, down in the comments down below. Anyway, but Mark says, I heard they turned down Elliott but still want Konza. I think that's with Wirtz as well. Yeah, that is true. I think Elliott turned them down, to be fair. We mentioned it yesterday, didn't we? Maybe Cherki will be replacing Diaz, said Red Rebellion, because Cherki has agreed terms with us. Has he? I haven't seen that anyway. As far as I know, that's not true. But again, I could be wrong. But hang on a minute. But yeah, judging from Twitter, we might have a here we go in the next hour. So we might be back live later on in a minute as well after tonight's show. But Cherki can play both wings. He used to use both feet. Yeah. Again, he is a very good player. I'm not even going to deny that. He is a wonderful player. But again, I think he's going to go to Manchester City now, of course. But didn't Wirtz do as well, agreed terms, and then went back on them as well? Well, no. I'm going to say no. It was Bayern Munich who came out and said that. Now, again, judging from things that have come out tonight with Florian Wirtz, Again, I do think a lot about what Bayern Munich say. It's a load of rubbish, really. Similar to like the Gravenberch stuff, because there's stuff coming out now that apparently Bayern Munich hierarchies are fuming that Liverpool got Ryan Gravenberch as well. So like that's a conversation for another time. But like Wirtz was going for going to City as well. Well, if he had agreed to them, then he would have absolutely gone to them. But again, supposedly it was financial options, wasn't it? That's the reason why Manchester City didn't go for Florian Wirtz, which is a pile of rubbish, really. Manchester United made that Lyon comeback just to lose to Spurs in the final. Yeah, it's laughable, isn't it? But we had no plan Bs last season. Yeah, true. Absolutely true. But look at Zupimendi. Zupimendi was the perfect, the perfect point then, really. Where I think when you look at it, 100%, you look at Zupimendi and go, well, Liverpool didn't have a plan B last season, and we kind of went, yeah, okay, we're kind of happy with what we got. By a stroke of luck, Ryan Gravenberch turned out to be a really good number 6 and under Arne Slot as well. Now, this summer, do Liverpool need a number 6? Yes, we do, even still, because it's clear that we don't trust, or I say we don't trust, the manager doesn't trust. He doesn't trust Wataru Endo to be that 6 that can, again, develop the ball a bit better. And of course, he's the type of guy to come on and win you a game of football. If you're 2-1 up or, 1-0 up, he's the type of, player to keep that lead for you. But Liverpool, I think, kind of want a more possession-based DM. Like, for example, now, if Liverpool could have the opportunity to sign anyone, doesn't matter about price or anything like that, I think if the doors opened right now for somebody like a Vitinha, I think Liverpool go for him all day long. But yeah, look, it's definitely not it's definitely not the other way anyway. But Cherki could be an addition to Wirtz, mate. Wirtz is done. Well, I'm not saying it yet, because again, last year, people got to last about the gibberish about rejection Cherki has agreed terms with us. Again, I've not seen anything on it, and I've not seen anybody talk about terms agreed with us and Cherki anyway. But still annoyed at Pep's betrayal coming to City. Yeah, look, it's shite in it, really. But Cherki gone to City. I think he'll go City as well. Pick up QT as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Here's a point for you. What's this, Martin? Well, talk about Kanate's contract, so I'd love to, but there's nothing really to talk about. I know that Sammy McBell talked about it and was like, Kanate still possibly an option for Liverpool, going to leave Liverpool. But yeah, there's nothing really to talk about with Ibu's contract, which, again, as soon as there's news about Kanate, I would love to say and talk about it, really. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't at the minute. Very crazy as well. But as soon as we can, we will be the first to know about it. But what Wirtz posted, Liverpool fans delighted. Imagine Trent did that whilst playing for LFC. Well, look at Kelleher's. I would really advise everyone to go on Kelleher's Instagram, I believe it was, and his message to the Liverpool supporters was very emotional when you reading through it. And that's the proper way to say goodbye, not the way Trent did. I don't care what anybody says. Like, again, the messages that, or like the thing that what Trent was saying, like, look, when he lifted the Premier League and obviously the within the ground as well, and everybody cheering Trent, I absolutely agree with that. Look, at the end of the day, he's gone, or whatever. But I look at it and go, for me, you are still a rat. Look, if Liverpool play Real Madrid next season at Anfield, I will be booing Trent. Like, there's no two ways around it. Like, again, you are an enemy now to Liverpool. Look, you've done amazing things for Liverpool Football Club, but still, you've turned your back on us. And that's not really, I don't think anyone else can disagree with that, really. And look, you can leave Liverpool Football Club and look at Kelleher now. Kelleher's not going to get booed. If we had to play Brentford next season, Kelleher's not going to get booed. He's going to get cheered when he comes back to Anfield. And other players in the past, Adam Lallana is a perfect example. Lallana left Liverpool, and every time he comes back, gets a round of applause. Danny Ings as well. Danny Ings left Liverpool, and constantly gets applauded back when he comes back to Anfield. Now with Trent, it's completely different. And it is going to be different because he's left us when we are at the top of the mountain, and he thinks he's bigger than the club, and he's not. And again, I don't really want to talk about Trent that often anyway. Of course, he can bugger off and play in the Club World Cup now, can't he? Anyway, but Endo has stated that he is not leaving Liverpool. No other midfielders are joining. Mate, watch this space. That's the only thing I'm going to say over there. Watch for a certain Crystal Palace midfielder. That's what I'm going to say. Delighted Wirtz did it. By the way, just pointing out the hypocrisy. Yeah, well, we'll get on to him in a moment, of course. But which sources confirm that Cherki has agreed personal terms with Liverpool? None, as far as I know. Ozan. But again, I've not seen anything really. But a lot of it hearsay though as well. Yeah, absolutely. I feel Trent will get ruined. They won't treat him as well as we did. No, I absolutely agree with that. 100%. Trent will get dogs abuse in white. I don't care what Klopp said. Yeah, 100%. Trent talk band. Let's talk Wirtz and Frimpong. Yeah, absolutely. Martin, I like your style, mate. I really do. Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about Florian Wirtz. And of course, let's discuss all the news then concerning Florian Wirtz today. Now, if you guys haven't seen, obviously the big one then really, as of tonight, of course, Florian Wirtz has called out Florian Plintenberg. Now, of course, this is on his Instagram. I know a couple of people was talking about it that, it's potentially not him and that, but it is Florian Wirtz. His Instagram account. Now, if I can quickly get up Twitter for you guys. Via his own Instagram stories. Let me quickly get it up for you guys because we did post it on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter, go and do so as well. But as it does say there, as you guys can hopefully see on screen right now, as Ozan, you'll be able to see your tweet as well. As he says there, quite perfectly. Who says I want the number 10? I respect players. Don't believe everything what's written, and then the clown emoji as well, which pretty much confirms he is going to, pretty much confirms he's going to be a Liverpool player because, of course, you guys are seeing that, and seeing that on his social media, and obviously looking at that and thinking, I wonder what they're going on about in terms of the number 10. Well, it was reported, wasn't it, by Florian Plintenberg himself, literally 24 hours ago, obviously confirming that supposedly that Florian Wirtz wanted the number 10 shirt, as you guys can hopefully see on screen right now. As it says by here, Florian Wirtz would like to wear the number 10 shirt at Liverpool. He is currently wearing it at Leverkusen, as well as the number 17 shirt for Germany. At the Reds, Alexis McAllister currently wears the number 10. Liverpool are very optimistic about reaching agreement, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think this post, I'll quickly scroll down, got community noted. Yes, as it does there. Florian Wirtz himself denies this as well, which isn't great for Florian Plintenberg. Let's be perfectly honest. It's been a very bad day, I would say, for Florian Plintenberg as well. And this is what I was talking about earlier on when we talked about the whole, agreeing a deal with Bayern Munich. Again, a lot of the conversation earlier on in the season was simply that. It was simply Bayern Munich's whole agency, similar to how I think you look back when Liverpool were looking for a manager, and you had the people like Christian Falk, you had the people like Florian Plintenberg that were confirming that Xabi Alonso was 100% going to join Bayern Munich. There was no chance he stays at Bayer Leverkusen or goes to Liverpool. It was pretty much guaranteed that he would be leaving Bayer Leverkusen and going to Bayern Munich. And then, of course, obviously with Liverpool also interested, he had to came out, didn't he, and confirm that he wasn't going to go anywhere for the next season. Obviously, now he is at Real Madrid, which I think everybody at the time thought, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Xabi Alonso's going to stay for one more year at Leverkusen and then go on to move on to simply to Real Madrid anyway. But look, for me, I think when you look at it, I personally think, look, he has chose the correct decision, really, because look, Liverpool have now got Arne slot, and that's, and we love him as well, of course, and he won as number 20, and soon potentially to win number 21 as well. I'm full of confidence. Anyway, but Urim as well, I believe. Sorry if I butchered your name. Saying, hi, who is saying the deal is close for Wirtz? Well, I'm glad you asked. In terms of that. Now, it is Fabrizio Romano. It is taken from Anfield Sector. He did say it on the zone, saying that Florian Wirtz is going to Liverpool. The deal is almost closed. The negotiations are in the last details. So, with that being said, are we talking about Florian Wirtz being confirmed tonight, tomorrow, potentially as well? Personally, I think a deal will be agreed tomorrow. I think then medical will get done on Thursday for Florian Wirtz. That's my opinion anyway. But again, I do think we are going to hear something in the next 24 hours. Potentially, we could even hear something at 10 o'clock about it, which is in, 12 minutes? That there might be a here we go in terms of Florian Plintenberg to Liverpool. But yeah, as you can see, but they obviously big up to the guys on Anfield Sector as well, saying again, but there Florian Wirtz is going to Liverpool. The deal is almost closed. The negotiations are in the last details as well, which again, we've heard that over the last couple of days, but still, it sounds like the deal is going to be very, done in the next 24 hours, I would say. But again, that's just me speculating, really. But again, it would be it would be an interesting one anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments anyway. But Florian, yeah, pretty perfect, isn't it? To be fair, but Wirtz will become a Liverpool player, yeah, absolutely. As well, Alonso will never be in charge at Liverpool now after snubbing us. I'd say never, but I'd also turn around and say, look, it's very possible in the future, because you never know, do you? You never know how Alonso's career is going to work out. You never know how Liverpool ourselves are going to work. Obviously, for the immediate future, I would agree. I again, Arne Slot is potentially going to manage Liverpool now for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Potentially. Again, you've got Virgil van Dijk, you've got Mo Salah, you're going to have Florian Wirtz, you're going to sign a striker now this summer. You've got Alisson. Again, Liverpool are good for the next 2-3 years. And yeah, that's obviously the big one, isn't it? It's the fact that Liverpool are going to be competitive now. Look at City, look at Arsenal. It's probably going to be another title fight between Liverpool and City, I would say, next season. But I think Liverpool now have the edge because, again, you've kept hold of Mo Salah, you've kept hold of Virgil van Dijk, you've brought in Jeremy Frimpong. You're about to bring in Kerkez as well. Let's not forget Miles Kerkez in this either. So Liverpool are looking good next season, genuinely looking good. And yeah, I cannot wait to see this man in Liverpool shirt as well. I am tempted to buy the Liverpool shirt for next season with him on the back, but I do have a thing at the minute where I'm definitely going to buy the long sleeve one with Mo Salah on the back. As well, but there is talk of us being in for another four after the Wirtz deal. So what are we talking about? Kerkez, Wirtz, and what? So Wirtz, Kerkez is one, a striker's another one, centre back, I would say, and DM. I think that's another conversation. Again, I mentioned earlier, Crystal Palace midfielder. I just got a feeling Liverpool are going to sign Adam Wharton this summer. I don't know why. Again, Palace could obviously reinvest with that money that we could end up spending for him, but I don't know. I think Liverpool are huge on Adam Wharton, and of course City don't need him. because they got, of course they got Rodri, that they've got, Nico Gonzalez that they bought in January. They're about to sign Reinders as well. Like, again, like I think Liverpool could have a free run at him, really, which could be an interesting scenario anyway. But that's just my opinion. What about Kirker signing a Kirker's Liverpool shirt on? No, not yet. Like, again, I definitely will be buying 2 or 3 Liverpool kits next season, for sure. Because again, the Adidas is back and that. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one anyway. That's what I laughed at. Does Jack still want Palmer? If Jack's still in the chat, you have to let us know. Probably not now, but yeah, don't want Cole Palmer. After Wirtz, there will only be a striker unless a player leaves. Well, the only one I would question is if Diaz leaves, then Liverpool will be looking at left wing, because you can't leave yourself with just Gakpo there. Of course, you have other players that can go there. You could play Jota on the left, for example. But yeah, you would have to sign a replacement there. And I think the question marks then is, who is it again? We'll probably do a video on it, talking about it, because the left wing market is it's awful. And again, it's similar like the striker market. You're either going to pay not under the valuations really, but you're looking at overpaying for quite a lot of players. You've got Anthony Gordon, of course. You've got Nico Williams there. That's thereabouts. Rafael Leao, again. There's probably Fofana, from Lyon as well. Like him especially. Look, I said it a couple of days ago. It's Jeremy Doku 2.0, where again he's a very excited, very good talent, but the prices that are getting quoted, like 60-70 million pounds, like there's no chance a team's going to go for that. I'd be really surprised if any team went for that. But again, have to wait and see. But yeah, Gordon, I think you're coughing out ridiculous money. I'm not going to lie. Again, for him, to be fair. But the Adidas shirts truly excite me. Yeah, they are very, very good. Especially the home kit, the third kit, the green one, and the goalkeeper one, the black one, looks stunning. I would say the away one looks good. It doesn't. There's different ones that are coming out at the minute. The leaks that, some people are saying it's white, some people are saying it's off white, like aqua type, really. But again, we'll have to wait and see. And plus, it'll always look better on the players as well. Like, I think the Spurs kit come out today, didn't it? And I don't like it. I don't like it now, but it looks a lot better in person on the players than it does out there anyway. Doug saying I don't want Gordon. Hey Doug, says Mark. The green shirt is absolutely banger. Yeah, it's absolutely banger. I think the only thing with Gordon is price, because again, Anthony Gordon can maybe do what Luis Diaz does, maybe, but it's the price tag. Again, him signing that new contract. Again, you're talking 100 million around that, and look, I am not paying 100 million for Anthony Gordon, or I don't want Liverpool to pay 100 million for Anthony Gordon. Anyway, but let me just double check there's no news before we do shoot off for tonight's show. If that's true as well, yeah. Apparently the Club World Cup badge, you can show it off or wherever. Anyway, but look, we'll have to wait and see for any more news. Let me just check. Sorry, chat. See if there is any more news before we do shoot off. Because if there is, I'm going to kick myself for it. But yeah, no, there isn't any more news around Florian Wirtz anyway, as that Romano post saying again Wirtz is going to Liverpool. Deal almost agreed. Well, deal is close to being agreed as well. But yeah, nothing as of yet coming out anyway concerning Florian Wirtz anyway. But let me quickly read the chat before we do shoot off. Any news on where Gerrard is going? Not a clue. Have Rangers even chose their manager yet? Maybe he might go back to Rangers. But again, I don't know. I think he may. I'm not gonna lie. I do think he may end up just being a pundit for now a little bit. I don't think there's much really in that, to be fair. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But hang on a minute. Why are you commenting? Russell Martin's going to Celtic, not Celtic, going to Rangers. Really? Why? Why on earth would you go to Rangers? I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, Russell Martin, really. Yeah, Dave OC Bomber. Where are you seeing this, Ozan? What's Dave OC Cobb putting? You know about the Vert stuff? Yeah, there's nothing there. The only thing, again, this is a pinned tweet from Fringpong, but yeah, there's nothing as far as I can see. Anyway, but laughing emojis. Russell Martin is close to joining Rangers. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, but that's actually mental. You know, I didn't think they go close to appointing one, but yeah, I think Stevie will go and stay in punditry for a little bit. And then if a managerial opportunity comes up, I think he'll take it. Really, but again, like at Rangers, he did a very good job. Like I think what he should do is kind of what Frank Lampard's done. You know, they've managed at a top level. You know, in the Premier League and elsewhere as well. I think Stevie needs a championship job. Really to take into a stride. Really, but look, we'll have to wait and see. And see what happens in the near future anyway. But look, if there is any news that does randomly come up, of course, you know, with Florian Wirtz, you know, if we do have a Here We Go tonight or tomorrow, of course, we'll be live for it, of course, as usual. If you are new around here, of course, please do hit that like button and hit the subscribe button as well. Like we spoke about Lady Diaz, we spoke about Rayan Cherki, we spoke about Queen Kelleher, and of course Florian Wirtz, which again, hopefully we'll have some better news anyway over the next 24 hours to 48 hours, at least anyway. But yeah, look, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your nights as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. Obviously, keep your eyes on the channel. If you're not following us yet on X or Twitter, then please obviously go over and do so as well. So obviously you can know when we're going to go live as well anyway. But yeah, until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been calling out from the Cock Council. We will see you guys later on. Ta-ra.